Hello, I'm Paul Wooding, Head of Communications at TM Forum, and I'm here today with
Thierry Langlais from ZTE, and I'm in charge of, I'm a Senior Director for Service and Digital Intelligence.
Thanks, Thierry. So you've been, ZTE, you've been a member of TM Forum for many years. Could you share from your perspective how the telco industry has evolved in your region, and also perhaps the challenges and opportunities that you see ahead?
Yeah, well, actually ZTE has been a member of TMF since 2021, so more than 20 years ago. And actually, incidentally, that's approximately when I joined the TMF as well, not part of ZTE, but of another organization. And well, in the meanwhile, the world has drastically changed for the telecoms industry, right? We have seen the impact of digital transformation, the emergence of the internet giants and customer digital native organizations. The expectations of the customers have changed as well. And operators have also transformed radically with the cloud technology, with the convergence between IT and telecoms. Also, I would say that the customer centricity has been introduced as a key change. Now, when you look now at from a regional perspective, I mean, there are two aspects to it. I mean, one is ZTE as the Chinese company. So China definitely over the last 20 years, I think, has taken the lead in the telecoms industry, hosting the largest telecom operators as well as the largest manufacturers. At the same time, ZTE has been a key actor and a stakeholder in this transformation, and this has radically transformed the country. So there's been really a key influence there. As far as my personal region is concerned, Europe. When I joined, Europe was leading the development of the 1G, 2G, 3G, etc. And this is somehow being, let's say, stalled, and EU now is more focused on regulating and things, but from an industrial perspective, it has been somehow taken over by other regions, unfortunately. Moving forward, I think the industry will have to address the key challenges of taking control and keeping control of the Gen AI revolution, which is in front of us, as well as probably also addressing the environmental challenges as a whole, how to, let's say, address the climate change, and also how to adapt the industry accordingly, where definitely telecoms will be a key part.
Thank you. And on that point about Europe perhaps falling a little behind, how do you feel that companies like yourselves can address that from the work that you're doing? Perhaps if the regulatory burden is seen as being too significant in Europe, are there opportunities or the things that the operators themselves can do to sort of get ahead of what's coming?
Well, I think, at least personal view, but the result, or at least what we observe today, is a result of a fragmented market as opposed to the big players, the US and China, as well as probably an environment which is maybe less prone to innovation than in other parts of the world. And for that, I mean, I think the Europeans have the solutions in their hands. I mean, this is for them to decide. As far as ZTE is concerned, of course, we're very keen to collaborate and cooperate with not only the European operators, but everybody around to make sure that they can benefit from our solutions. And also, we actively work with them in many projects in Europe. That's one element, I mean, of being part of this ecosystem, of course. But I think Europe's problems are for Europe to solve.
Of course. But I mean, the need, I guess, for that broader collaboration within the ecosystem speaks to the broader themes around the need for greater agility and innovation across the whole of the global telco industry. And could you share with us how working with TM Forum on our ODA framework and open APIs is helping ZTE to achieve that?
Yeah, so ZTE over the last few years has been very actively involved in particular in autonomous networks, and so the level 4 autonomous networks, which is a target for the major operators in China. And as a key stakeholder in this evolution, I mean, of course, we rely a lot on TMF as a forum to bring us together as an industry, to also share the knowledge, to understand also the concerns and the priorities from the overseas markets. probably as well to use a common vocabulary and nomenclature and set of themes and infrastructure that really brings us together, which obviously when you look at it from the Chinese perspective only, it still remains within a China environment. So it's good to be confronted. And of course, I mean, the openness also means better collaboration and better access to resources. So while ZTE had somehow, let's say, reduced its exposure to the TMF in the late 2010s as we divested from our legacy BOSS solutions, now that we are really focused on autonomous networks and intelligent operations, increasing our participation in the TMF becomes a key priority for us.
So I'd like to pick up on your journey with autonomous networks and the progress that's being made, and how the initiatives being run by TM Forum with our members are supporting you.
Well, vast question. So first, as ZTE, I mean, we have developed already some wealth of solutions around autonomous networks. I mean, we have our large language model platform, Nebula. We have deployed also autonomous network solutions in more than 120 locations for our customers. We've introduced digital twins for mastering the customer perception, and so on and so forth. We've signed the ODA and Open API manifesto back in 2022. And again, as I said, that's really part of making sure that our solutions cope with what the rest of the industry demands and not solely the Chinese market. So as far as interacting with overseas customers, we see TM Forum and ODA being critical for two reasons. First, our customers rely more extensively on the TMF discussions and frameworks when they put together the RFPs, for instance, to set up their requirements. And for us, it's also a way to, let's say, justify our leadership and influence, as we can, let's say, refer to the TMF as being part of our fundamental, let's say, frameworks that we are working against.
Perfect, thank you. And finally on that, just to finish then, just sort of more broad thoughts on the value of being a TM Forum member, working, with other operators and also software vendors, etc., within this community. Where do you see the real strengths there in terms of being within the TM Forum?
I would see 5 or 6 main benefits, really. The first one is the strategic alignment. I mean, TM Forum goals are in line with what we plan to achieve as ZTE and for our customers. The second one, I think, is the leadership and influence. I mean, by sharing and participating, we can show our customers that we are a key part of this ecosystem. The third one, I think, is the customer-centric approach that TM Forum is promoting. So with this 0x, self-x architecture, which is really core to the evolution for autonomous networks. Next, I would say, is probably operational excellence. TMF helps reduce the time to market. It helps reduce the time to communicate between vendors and customers because we share the common framework. Next to that would be, of course, the networking opportunities. I mean, getting together and cooperating at a time where the world is not necessarily going towards more globalization and unification. So that's very important for us. And so all that really means a lot for us. And so that's why we're keen to continue and increase our contribution to the TM Forum.
That's great to hear. Well, Thierry, thank you ever so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.